Before we get started on today's morning briefing, don't forget if you're headed to Ensenada, you're going to want to give Zeke Casas a call. Only 15 minutes from downtown, but just check out that spectacular view while in Ensenada, Baja California Norte. And if that garage door is giving you a problem, then you're going to want to call your garage door man. That's Joe Welker. Tax problems? Nobody better than our friend Tim Marquez. Tim's been doing taxes for 35 years. Give the tax man a call today. And for your heating and or air conditioning needs, you're going to want to talk to our dear friend John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. Welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It can't get any more gorgeous than it is here. It has been beautiful the last couple of days, and we've got more great weather ahead. We've got a lot to cover with you. Those yellowtail in Baja California continue to impress. There's literally a 1,000-mile zone of yellowtail if you count from Cabo San Lucas up to Ensenada. It's amazing, and it's going to bleed in here to Southern California. Of course, everybody is getting ready for our March the 23rd Great Days Fishing, a surf fishing event for the entire family. Come out with the kids. You know, if the kids get bored when you're surf fishing, it's perfect. They can play in the sand, build a sand castle, help clean up the beach. There's so much that they can do, and that's going to be March the 23rd. Can't wait for that. And of course, we're watching everything in between. Some nice halibut taken on board the Native Sun yesterday, and so much more. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good Thursday morning, my friends. I know what you're thinking. What the heck is the sun doing over there in the morning? That doesn't make any sense at all. You got me. We're pre-recording the morning briefing because I got to get up early and do something here on Thursday morning. Or actually, can you believe this guy? He's been here all night long. Did you see him on the evening briefing? He's still trying to catch a fish. I mean, Rocco's been here the entire night long. It's really being pre-recorded, as I said, but it's been beautiful, and I want to get you up on some information because we have a lot more information to get across to you now, and we are going to do that right now. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share these videos with a friend, subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, and tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. I think he had a fish that he just released over there, by the way. Maybe a round stingray or something like that, or I don't know. What's he doing? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, maybe a round stingray that he's trying to get back in the water. Anyway, don't forget, you can catch us on Facebook. Is that where I left off? TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Tick the bell. Did I say that? Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures family or the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the family too. Man, I'll tell you, what a beautiful evening it is here. Or should I say morning? Well, you're watching this in the morning, so no more BS about that. Let's cover some of the fishing. We'll start you out in Mexico Lindo. Down in Mexico, we continue to see a lot of yellowtail, as I've been mentioning. We see them in Cabo San Lucas. Now, there's yellowfin tuna offshore. Not a lot, and it's windy down there. It's windy throughout that southern Baja, right through April for the most part. Get a couple days in, you're lucky. But inshore, we're seeing some yellowtail. We're definitely seeing really good yellowtail action out at Coronado Island, out of La Paz. Baja Pirates and Tail Hunter International, they've been cashing in on some 20 to 30-plus pound yellowtail. When you can get out there and make bait, man, it's been pretty instant. And Loreto and Mulaje, they've been really good on the yellowtail so far this year. And the surface iron yellows are biting in San Quintin. San Quintin is only 140 miles down below the border. It's a beautiful drive to get down there, and the fishing there is spectacular. Now, those yellows are starting to become quite a bit more consistent. There's still days where they're down, but there's been some humongous bird schools, birds flocking everywhere, those yellows forcing bait to the surface, and the guys down there, K&M Sport Fishing, and many other guys have been running down there and throwing the surface iron and doing really well. By the way, don't fish surface iron or yo-yo iron. Yo-yo is a heavier jig that you sink deep, wind on fast. Surface iron is a lighter jig. You don't wind on it super fast. You can wind on it fast, but sometimes they'll bite a slow retrieve. You just have to vary that and see what they are up to. But don't fish with anything less than 50-pound mono. I'm telling you right now, it makes all the difference in the world when one of those hard-fighting yellows crash into your jig. So we certainly have seen some good stuff with regard to that. So that looks good. Now Ensenada, we've seen some really good fishing going on in Ensenada also. We've seen quite a bit of yellowtail there. Big bonito mixed up with it, and there's been a splash or two, not a lot, but a little bit of barracuda starting to show up around Todos Santos Island and up from Ensenada along the coast. There's been a little bit of barracuda starting to show up. Next will be the sand bass, man. It's spring, and that is great. March the 20th, spring starts chronologically, so it's the first day of spring, and that is just fantastic news. So really good signal down there out of Mexico. We're seeing a lot of great yellowtail fishing down there, and that's going to bleed into the Coronado Islands. It would not surprise me. I believe the San Diego is running this weekend at a C4 sport fishing. It would not surprise me to see him get a dozen yellows. I'd definitely bring my surface iron. I'd probably lean more on my yo-yo iron just because during this time of the year, winter, early spring, most of those fish are taken on the yo-yo iron, but it would not surprise me to see him get a good pop on that. The San Diego decided to run a crew trip and go out and look around, and they came up with a really good signal of yellowtail. So it sounds like we're on the right track, and they'll be fishing on Sunday. Should be a very interesting day for the San Diego. Ensenada, incidentally, still really good rock fishing, some lings in that neck of the woods, 120 miles below the border. We see spectacular ling cod fishing for the boats that are running out of San Diego and fishing down there. It has been really spectacular. Great fishing going on. As we mentioned now, there's been a little bit more halibut. I don't know if it's the grunion runs that are starting to get the halibut more active, but we saw the Native Son out of 22nd Street Landing yesterday come up with 3 halibut. One of them, 28.5 pounds. That's a nice flat fish here in California. That's a gorgeous fish. No question about that. And we have an update from my dear friend Cliff Hughes, who happens to be one heck of a fisherman. He was on board the Native Son. He said they had 7 legal halibut, up to 28.5 pounds. Beautiful fish, no doubt about that. He said you really had to work hard. 20-pound fluorocarbon and a heavy weight like a 10-ounce torpedo sinker worked best of all. He said there was some whitefish and sculpin mixed in with it, which kept the interest level up. And of course, probably the biggest thing he would say that made a difference was choosing a smoking hot, really good bait. That makes all the difference in the world. And Cliff pointed out one other thing. When he caught his fish, which incidentally weighed in at 10 pounds, he had a follower, another halibut following his fish up. That happens from time to time in halibut fishing, but sometimes it's an indication that the halibut are getting ready to spawn. And Cliff has a very good sense about these kinds of things. He thinks it's getting ready to really turn on. Cliff, great tips. Thanks so much for your insight. Down in San Diego, the Dolphin was fishing halibut, and they did pretty good also. They ended up with 6 halibut. They had 20 shorts, so they had a lot of good activity down there. They've had days with 20 legal halibut out of San Diego, so they have been doing pretty darn good on the flat fishing. We saw a little bit more life regarding that. And private boaters also starting to catch more and more flatties here. So I think that might have something to do with just that it's springtime now and we are starting to head in the right direction. I love that. Now, on the local situation, I'm talking about half-day boats, 3/4-day boats. It's going to be sculpin, it's going to be whitefish, a little bit of bass, calico, and sand bass, but mostly the sculpin and the whitefish and the sheephead. Not a ton of sheephead in the LA Orange County areas for the local boats, more up there in the Channel Islands. We've been seeing the Aloha Spirit catching limits of sheephead on a pretty regular basis. So that's all really, really good stuff. And again, those are great fish in terms of table fare. They are so good to eat. and a day out on the water is fantastic. Incidentally, we've been talking a lot about these northbound gray whales. They are leaving the warm water lagoons in Baja California and heading back home. About a 4,000 or 5,000 mile little jaunt for them up the coast here, and they ultimately end up in the Bering Sea of Alaska. So if you were thinking about going whale watching, this is a really good time to be doing it. I know the scientists up there at Point Vicente here in Southern California have been seeing double digits on the gray whales almost every single day. So those things are heading back up right now. Spectacular way to enjoy things for sure. Once again, we have also seen an occasional white sea bass, and some of the guys are keeping a lid on that. These guys that are catching tanker sea bass along the coast, there's been a little bit of that going on. They're all zip-lipped about that, don't want anybody to know about it. And really, you're not going to see sport boats with a whole bunch of those if you're thinking in terms of a sport boat. We haven't seen all that much in terms of that, but there's been a few big tanker sea bass taken along the coast out there at Catalina Island. Isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous to see Cat like that. She is such a gorgeous island. A little bit of sea bass, but we've had some inclement weather lately that really haven't given the boys a chance. Pursuit's been over there and they ran into that weather, but now we're into this nice weather scenario. Look for Cat to kick out some more fish. You're gonna have some more sheephead, whitefish. Hopefully we'll see an exotic or two. And Cat has been known to kick out, especially here recently, and with all the squid we saw at that place during this year and last year, you're going to see some good halibut fishing there. Epicenter for the halibut bite has been the Channel Islands, but I would be very, very surprised if we don't see a really good halibut season and maybe even a good white sea bass shot at Catalina Island like the old days. Still a lot of anchovy in the bait around here. That's a colder water kind of phenomenon. We are seeing a lot of anchovy in the bait. A lot of guys think that could mean albacore forecast in April. I'll be making a fool of myself again this year. We'll see how that all ends up, but we'll keep our eyes on that for you and see how that goes. All right, long range, not a lot going on right now. A lot of guys doing ecology trips. Some guys are not out fishing quite yet, but there is bluefin tuna down there at 300 miles. We know that because some of the boys on their way back up have checked it out. It's still there. And to the south of it, a little bit of further, is some yellowfin tuna. So that looks good as we move deeper into the fall. That could really get going. And heck, next month, on the 21st to the 26th, we're going to be on the Independence on a 5-day adventure. I really can't wait for that trip. That is going to be a lot of fun. No doubt about that. www.independencesportfishing.com for more information, and hopefully you can get on that trip. It should be a spectacular one. I am really dying to do that. All right, in the Southern California surf, we're excited about March 23rd. That is this Sunday. We've got an incredible raffle for you. $5 for a ticket, 5 tickets, $25. We've got 4 beautiful surf fishing outfits, 9-foot rods with reels. Beautiful. We're going to raffle those off. We have hats, shirts from Young's Fishing Tackle. Everybody in attendance, whether you buy a raffle ticket or not, is going to get a hook, a little pack of hooks from our friends over at Best Fishing Tackle and Hawthorne. Sky and Black Tail Hooks are providing that. And then Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach. They open at 5 a.m. on Sunday. 5 a.m. Go in there and get your bait. The tackle that you buy, they're going to knock 10% off. And if you want to buy a custom rod and reel, you can get 15% off there. You can get a combo, 15% off. And any rod in the store, 15% off. March the 23rd, open at 5 a.m. Must stop there. If you spend 1 penny there and bring us a receipt, you get a free raffle ticket for all the great raffle prizes. March the 23rd, right down there, Anderson and Pacific Coast Highway. We'll have a little table set up and we'll be there to greet you. You can get the new Friedman Adventures surf fishing line and check it out, try that out. Dave from Davy's Lures is going to be there. He always has some handouts for everybody. He's a really great guy. There's going to be so many wonderful people. Dan Lightfoot and a whole cast of characters. Let's put it that way. It's going to be good. Anthony is going to be there. He's our raffle man / bodyguard, so it's going to be good. And by the way, if you'd like to help, we could use some greeters for that morning. If you'd like to be a greeter, people walk up, you welcome them to the Friedman Adventures family. You show them where the raffle tickets are. You show them where to get the line, just that kind of stuff. Show them how to tie a knot. Maybe they've got some kids and they don't know how to fish the surf. If you'd like to be one of those greeters, there's two things you could do. You could send me a text at 657-227-6459. I'll get back to you. We can talk on the phone and coordinate that whole thing. Or if you want, we have a 12 noon meeting at 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California, right there at our studio. You'll find it. Just walk in the ticket office and ask them where the Friedman Adventures studio is if you don't know. If you look at the gangplank that goes down to the boats at 22nd Street Landing, well, right behind it, it says Friedman Adventures. The door will be open, and we would love to have you show up and volunteer for that Sunday. That's going to be really a lot of fun. All right, my friends, what can I tell you? Beautiful first day of spring, wink, wink. It's a beautiful day, and I'll be keeping you in touch with all the very latest. I love seeing birds flying around. That's an indication of bait. We look down that way, and Rocco has not caught a fish yet, but he sure as heck is trying hard. And that's all you can do is come down here and give it your all. We'll certainly be doing that on March the 23rd, my friends. And as always, it's such a pleasure, an honor to come into your house or wherever it is you're watching this today. It means the world to me. And I can't thank you enough for all of your great support. Remember, hit that like button, share these videos with a friend, and I hope to see you really, really soon.